Warm greetings to one and all present here. I, Professor Anuja Limbad, Assistant Professor at Indira School of Business Studies, Pune, and my fellow colleague here, Professor Trupti Joshi, Assistant Professor, Indira School of Business Studies, Pune. Our focus area for the today's presentation is pre and post effect of merger on financial performance, the case of mega merger of banks which was held in 1st April 2020, and announcement has been done by Mrs. Sitaraman, Finance Minister of India. Pre and post analysis, financial performance analysis of the bank has been done by using camel model. The model has been introduced by S Padmanabhan committee in the 1995. Camel model is including 5 parameters. On the basis of that, the evaluation of the financial performance has been done, which includes capital adequacy, asset quality, management quality, earning quality, and liquidity. Thorough analysis for the literature review search has been done. There has been various studies which has been done by various authors, including the areas which are corporate areas, industry which is banking industry, manufacturing industry, but the banking industry which does not include the mega merger of the banks which was done in the 2020. The pre and post financial performance analysis has not been conducted by any authors till now. That's why the gap has been found out in this literature search, that the mega merger of the banks which was happened in the 2020, the financial performance of the study should be conducted. The aim and objective of this study includes the mega merger of banks financial study in using camel model. Second objective is comparative analysis of financial variables using average of all banks. Significance of study, the importance has been given to all stakeholders in this study who are at the benefit of using the inputs which are resulted in this particular study. The stakeholders who are associated with these banks are customers, retail customers, investors of the stock market, future investors of the stock market, top level management who are having the kind of strategic decisions of efficient utilization of resources for the maximization of shareholders wealth. Such information will be very much beneficial, as this information is ultimately providing them the inputs about the decision making criteria to all investors, retailers, as well as top level management. Methodology used in this study are type of research, quantitative research, descriptive research design is used, secondary data collection is used, audited annual report selected banks has been used, IBA bulletin website, RBI website, NSE website, etc. has been used. 4 major banks which are anchor banks, other banks which are involved and amalgamated in this particular banks, and now these 4 banks are having existence. The pre-post analysis of this particular study has been done through paired t-test. Sample description: anchor banks are PNB, Canara Bank, Union Bank, and Indian Bank. Hypothesis are alternative and null hypothesis. Null hypothesis stating no significant difference of pre and post financial merger using camel model, and alternative hypothesis stating there is a significant difference in pre and post merger of financial performance of this selected banks. Data collection and statistical analysis of the first bank PNB. We can see here that the highlighted values are stating less than equal to 0.05%, which is a significant value which is adopted in the paired t-test in this current study. For credit deposit ratio, net NPA to net advances ratio, and the return on the net worth, that is rejected for the null hypothesis, and which is leading to acceptance of the alternative hypothesis, stating there is a significant difference in the pre and post merger analysis evaluation of this particular parameters. Similarly, for Indian Bank, for highlighted values, the null hypothesis has been rejected and alternative will be accepted. For Canara Bank, the highlighted values are capital adequacy, credit deposit, and net NPA to net advances. For Union Bank, these are some parameters for which null will be rejected and alternative will be accepted, stating there is a significant difference in this particular parameters for Union Bank. This is a comparative analysis for financial variables of sample banks. We can see in the last column highlighted values for the capital adequacy ratio, and we can see here that there is a significant improvement in this capital adequacy ratio, which is showing that improvement has been positive, and by 2 points. Here in the asset quality parameter, credit deposit ratio has been reduced. Second, here on the management quality, there has not been any significant improvement been found in this parameter. Earning quality, a significant improvement has been found in the return on the equity ratio. Dividend payout ratio has also been noticed that there is an improvement in this particular ratio. Liquidity, there has not been any kind of significant value we have found on an average basis, but still liquidity has been improved and has been noticed that has been improved in this particular post merger era. So all parameters except asset quality, which is having negative impact on the post merger analysis of all particular banks, which is found in the average analysis of all banks in the comparison. Other than that, capital adequacy ratio, management quality, earning quality, liquidity has been improved in the post-merger era for this particular all four banks. Conclusions and suggestions only which is going to the asset quality, that is to conversion of this particular deposit which is accepted by these banks into the revenues for these banks. That conversion should be done effectively. To reduce this gap, credit gap, banks should try to improve their lending capacity by directing more funds towards credit lending to small businesses owners, as well as for the particular MSMEs. So here employees should be trained to handle innovative technologies which will increase this efficiency to generate the income at the business level. These are references which are used for the current study. Thank you so much. If any doubt, please ask questions. Thank you so much.
Good day all. My greetings to the esteemed session chairperson of the session and my fellow researchers. I'm Yaman Damagra, a full-time master student from George Brown College based in Toronto, Canada. With me is Ms. Shifa Sadan, doctoral candidate from Symbiosis International University and visiting faculty in a college of repute in Mumbai, India. This is conceptual paper. Conceptual papers are paper made to put forth concepts and ideas for researchers to explore upon. There is no empirical testing in conceptual papers, and researchers put their observation and analysis to light. Conceptual papers are a good source to conduct further research. The idea we bring through this research is Indian spice revolution, tapping into the growing demand in the Western world. I am the principal author and paper is co-authored by Ms. Shifa Sadan. Spice has been a crucial part of Indian cuisine for centuries, and in recent years the popularity has been spreading rapidly across the globe. Whether it's the rich aroma of cumin or the sweet fragrance of cinnamon, Indian spices have a unique flavor profile that adds depth and complexity to any dish. But why are these spices gaining such popularity in Western world? The answer is simple. They offer a range of health benefits as well as its unique taste experience. From reducing inflammation to boosting metabolism, Indian spices are known to have a wide range of medicinal properties. And as a consumer become more health conscious and adventurous with their food choices, the demand for authentic Indian spices is only set to increase. So how can we tap into the growing trend? That's why we are going to explore in this presentation. We take a closer look at the Indian spice revolution, the driving factor, its growth, and the opportunity it presents for business looking to expand into this lucrative market. So let's dive in and discover how you can be part of the Indian spice revolution. Thank you for joining me. The rise in popularity of Indian culture abroad has led to an increased interest in Indian cuisine, including the use of Indian spices. This is due to a variety of factors. Starting with, there has been an extensive Indian immigrants to various parts of the world, resulting in the spread of Indian cuisine and culture. Moving on, research has shown that many Indian spices have significant medicinal and health benefits, which has further increased their popularity in the Western world. Moreover, social media trends has also played a role in the growing demand for Indian spices. With the rise of food blogging and online recipe sharing, people are more curious and willing to experiment with new flavors. Lastly, the popularity of plant-based diet has also contributed to the rise in the demand for the Indian spices. Many Indian dishes are vegetarian or vegan, and the use of spice is essential to make these dishes flavorful and satisfying. The demand for Indian spices in the Western world has created a huge opportunity for Indian spices producers and exporters. Let's take a closer look at the numbers. The US imported a significant amount of Indian spices. Between 2013 and 2017, the US imported 47,226 metric tons of Indian spices, worth $294 million annually. In fact, India accounts for 27% of the total value of herbs and medicinal plants and imports into the United States. In addition to this, the US imported 1.8 million metric ton of spices, making it one of the largest spice importer in the world. Canada is also a growing market for Indian spices, with the country becoming the world's 12th largest importer of spices in 2020, with imports worth $90.8 million. Major imports to Canada came from China, the United States, and the third place was taken by India at $11.7 million. This represents a huge opportunity for Indian spices producers to increase their exports to Canada and potentially surpass China and the US in the market. With such high demand for the Indian spices in the West, Indian spice producers have a great opportunity to expand their business and tap into the growing market. In the next few slides, we'll take a closer look at some of the strategies that can be used to make the most of this opportunity. We conducted research to understand the Indian spices evolution and opportunity it presents. Our objectives were to explore acceptance, identify demand factor, evaluate scopes, and construct a framework. Our study has some limitations and need to be empirically tested in foreign market. Nonetheless, our research provides valuable insights and recommendations for business looking to expand into the Western market. The study is significant as it sheds light on the demand for the traditional Indian spices in the Western market. It identifies the determinants that must be considered while formulating a marketing strategy for Indian spices in foreign market. Additionally, it highlights the multi-beneficiary and the multi-utility aspect of Indian herbs and spices. The paper is conceptual paper and secondary data was collected from publishers like Science Direct and elsewhere. In the future, researchers are encouraged to conduct primary research to support the framework empirically and provide suggested measures accordingly. Our research has identified several key determinants of growing demand for Indian spices in the Western market. These determinants are as follows. Starting with culture, acceptance plays a major role in driving the demand for Indian spices. Indian culture has become increasingly popular in the West, thanks to factors such as social media and tourism. As a result, Western consumers are more open to trying new food and flavors, including those associated with Indian cuisine. Moving on, the medicinal benefits of Indian spices have been extensively researched and documented. Studies have shown that Indian spice can provide a relief for a variety of health issues from minor ailments to more serious diseases. As consumers become more health conscious, the demand for natural remedies and ingredients is increasing, making Indian spices a desirable option. Thirdly, advancing technology has made it easier for Indian spice manufacturers to prevent and transport their product to Western market. Technologies such as improved logistics and supply chain management and innovative packaging solutions have made it possible to deliver high quality Indian spice to consumers around the world. All of these factors combine to drive an increase in demand for the Indian spices in the Western market. By understanding these demand determinants and developing product and marketing strategies that caters to them, Indian spice manufacturer can successfully tap into this lucrative market. Our research has identified several suggestions for Indian spices manufacturers seeking to expand into the Western market. This includes prioritizing the quality assurance. Given that Western consumers prioritize product quality and safety, Indian spice manufacturers must ensure that the product meet or exceed Western quality standards. This may entail investing in quality control measures such as testing, certification, and inspection to guarantee that the products are safe and meet quality specification. Participating in food expos and other trade events. These events provide Indian spice manufacturers with opportunity to showcase their product, building brand awareness and establishing relationship with the key stakeholders in the industry. By leveraging these events, manufacturers can develop and nurture connections with the potential buyers and patterns in the Western market. Developing targeted marketing campaigns with social media and other digital platforms at their disposal, Indian spice manufacturers can leverage these tools to create targeted marketing campaign that highlights the unique quality and benefit of their product to Western consumers. Networking with industry peers, building strong relationship with the industry peers can be critical in expanding into new market. By cultivating relationship with the manufacturers, distributors, and industry professionals, Indian spice manufacturer can access valuable insights and resources that can help them navigate the complexity of the Western market. Seeking government aid. Government and other organizations offer a range of programs and initiatives to support small business and promote trade. By leveraging these resources, Indian spice manufacturer can access financial and technical support to help them expand into the Western market. Last but not the least, adopting technology. Technology can help Indian spice manufacturer improve efficiency, quality, and safety throughout the supply chain. By investing in technologies such as traceability and inventory management system, Indian spice manufacturers can better meet the needs of Western consumers and build trust in their product. By implementing these strategies, Indian spice manufacturers can successfully expand into the Western markets and tap into the growing demand of the Indian spices. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I, Ms. Simone D'Souza,
And I, Ms. Vidhi Maru,
the authors of this paper, would now be presenting our research paper on the topic Understanding Secure Environment in the Indian Banking Industry from a Customer's Perspective. As we all know, bank frauds are illegal activities done by an individual to acquire money from a banking institute. When we say bank frauds, usually things that come to our mind include internet fund transfers, check frauds, etc. According to a record in the year 2020 to 21, 229 financial frauds were happening every day, out of which less than 1% of the total amount could be recovered. The objective of this paper is to study the different cases that acted as an eye-opener for many banks as well as people, and to identify the loopholes present in the existing Indian banking system. Also, to understand the reasons and evaluate the outcomes of such business scams on individuals and the society. The following are the papers being reviewed for this research paper. While reviewing these papers, it is noted that the previous research papers were written from the perspective of banks and were focused on elements connected to various types of financial frauds and their likely cause of occurrence. So this research paper focused on the customer's point and perspective of the frauds happening and tried to cover some gaps such as how to improve the banking sector technology, infrastructure, and rigorously adhering to the laws. Further, let's look into the methods of research. The conducted research is based on primary and secondary data. The primary data was collected using a group of structured questions using a sample size of 111 from the age groups of 18 to 80. The data was collected to know the level of knowledge and the awareness levels among the people. And various websites like Economics Times, Times of India, Indian Express, and Business Today were used to collect our secondary data.
further, the findings of the research contain primary data and secondary data. Now we talk about the research findings. Banking laws. There are certain laws which are specifically made for these fraudulent activities. Section 421 and Section 17 of the Indian Penal Code states that any of the dishonest or fraudulent activities amongst the creditors will be accompanied by imprisonment for the given time or for up to 2 years. According to Section 47A of the Banking Regulation Act, it states that the bank will be held responsible if it fails to report such cases. The majority of the age group of the sample size belong to 18 to 25. Most of the respondents felt that Kotak, ICICI, HDFC, SBI were a few banks that they could trust with their money. Most of the samples in our study believe that it's the Punjab National Bank and the Yes Bank that are the biggest bank frauds that took place which they are aware. The next chart shows that the samples think that the bank employees, the government and the person doing the fraud are responsible for these frauds. Following the lead of the sample respondents as they believe that it's the PNB and the Yes Bank that were the biggest bank frauds that they were aware of, we did an in-depth study of these cases. Yes Bank is the sixth largest bank. It used aggressive business tactics of giving high interest loans to loss-making companies like Jet Airways, Reliance and many more. Thus, the NPAs kept increasing. The next case study is about the Punjab National Bank. It was the first government-owned Swadeshi bank. Fake letters of undertaking were used to cheat the SWIFT banking system. The main accused were Nirav Modi and his family, who defrauded approximately rupees 14,000 crores. Further, we move on to the suggestions. Individuals have been affected by these scams as the taxpayers' money was used to make up for the losses, in addition to the money that belonged to the bank account holders. These are the steps that need consideration in respect to the banks. Auditing. Under the direction of chartered accountants, the auditing process in banks must be strengthened. Recruitment and selection. The bank's management needs to hire the right people with the right credential and abilities. Vigilance. It refers to a state of alertness. Preventive vigilance should make sure that the business is well organized and operated. Strictly follow the law. To lower the total percentage of such scams, banks should strictly adhere to the banking laws assigned by the RBI. Monitoring business projects. An effective management information system needs to be set up in order to keep track of any early warning indications. Analyzing the borrower. Avoiding customers who have been accused of fraud or who have been observed in engaging questionable behavior. No excessive reliance. The bank's personnel shouldn't be relied upon excessively. Staff members and officials should frequently be moved from one branch to the another. Better loan recovery process. To get past the National Asset Reconstruction Company Limited, India must enhance its loan recovery procedures. Denationalization. This will reduce overall operational cost and expenses for the financial organization and thus become more efficient and effective. The suggestions for individuals are as follows. Customers should be aware and alert of what's happening in and around. Periodic assessment of financials should be done regularly. One should check yearly audit reports and consult financial advisors whenever required.
The limitations of the study as follows. The research is confined to geographical barriers as it could only be collected from a particular region, that is Mumbai, and covers data from past years, that is from 2003 to 2022. The primary data is collected only from 111 respondents, which might not be representing the whole population. The present study covers frauds streamlined only to Punjab National Bank and the Yes Bank. To conclude, this study was carried out to look at the effects of such banking scams on our society, as well as to alert the public about the flaws such as misuse of NPAs, the SWIFT system, LOUs used to fraud with the bank and the public. It demonstrated the significance of the government passing stronger legislations to control resources and personnel. The government should opt for stricter rules. The banking staff should be made more aware of the measures suggested by the RBI, and they must be able to identify the loopholes from the previous cases to avoid such frauds.
Lastly, we aim for a fraud-free India. These are our references and the websites used for the research paper. Thank you.
Good afternoon, one and all. I, Professor Hasina Panwar, Assistant Professor of Ismail Yusuf College of Arts, Science and Commerce. Firstly, likely to express my gratitude for presenting the research paper at this international platform organized by Ismail Yusuf College. I am extremely honored and thankful for this opportunity. I, Professor Hasina Panwar, the author of this research paper, along with the co-authors Professor Deepa Pal and Professor Jishan Mukri, welcome you all to our presentation. We are the Assistant Professor of Ismail Yusuf College of Arts, Science and Commerce, Mumbai. All three of us have made a substantial contribution to this research. We will be presenting about role of forensic accounting in ethics inducement to curb financial frauds, a study on accountant of Mumbai city. Forensic accounting is a complicated term. There are number of misconceptions about the term forensic accounting. Literal meaning of this term is analysis of the evidence of the financial statement before the court of laws. When the forensic accounting was coined in 1940 by the American professionals, it consists of accounting, auditing and investigative skill. It is the application of accounting principles, theories and discipline to facts or hypotheses at issues in a legal disputes and encompasses every branch of accounting knowledge. In the Indian context, the forensic accountant are in the demand in the wake of the growing frauds. Thus, a new category of accounting was needed to detect the fraud in companies that suspect fraudulent transactions. Let me briefly inform you all about who are the forensic accountants. Forensic accountants are the trained to detect evidence of frauds. Some forensic accountant may, for example, just specialize in insurance claim, personal injury, fraud, constructions or royalty audits. Forensic accountant may be involved in recovering proceeds of crime and in relation to confiscation proceeding concerning actual or assumed proceed of crime or money laundering. For example, in India, there is a separate breed of forensic accountant called Certified Forensic Accounting Professionals. Some forensic accountants are also Certified Fraud Examiners, Certified Public Accountant or Chartered Accountants. Our research paper is eventually connected to business ethics. Business ethics are the most debated topic of this era as it is the philosophical heart of any occupation and their outcome is important for economic growth. The conflict is between doing the correct things and things with the malefied intention. Ethics provides principles that guide behavior and help people to make moral choices. Among the alternative form of activities, in spite of having good mechanism of sensitization of employees toward the moral and ethics, even though the possibility of white collar crimes cannot be ruled out. Thus, proposed study will bring at one page forensic accounting and code of business ethics to minimize the corporate scandals. These are some of the objectives of our research paper: to study the role of forensic accounting in ethics inducement, to study the various uses of forensic accounting in India, to study the awareness of forensic accounting techniques among the organization. Forensic accountants are trained to detect the evidence of frauds. Forensic accounting is about more than legal matter and financial numbers. There is an acute shortage of financial accounting skill in India. A huge demand for forensic accountant has come up in the wake of the requirement from the various investors after Satyam Fisco and other frauds. The following is the hypothesis of the research study. Forensic accounting plays a significant role in ethics inducement among the accountant to reduce the occurrence of financial fraud in organization. The research was conducted by using descriptive method, and researcher had selected 30 qualified accountants who are in the employment in and around Mumbai and Thane district. All corporate and chartered accountants who are selected as a research sample are directly related to financial accounting and forensic accounting. A questionnaire was prepared and distributed to collect detailed information for research work. The questionnaire was used to obtain reliable and correct information. Tabular and suitable statistical technique like percentage and average were used for data analysis and interpretation. For analysis and interpretation of data, the researcher had used tabulation, classification, graphs and percentages. Out of 30 respondents, 13 are female accountant and 17 are male accountant. 12 accountants are in the age group of 26 to 30 years, 8 accountants are in the age group of 21 to 25 years, and 6 accountants are in the age group of 31 to 35 years, and lastly 4 accountants are in the age group of 41 to 45 years. In this research paper, 33.33% of accountants are strongly agree and 23.33% are agree that forensic accounting overcomes the shortcoming of financial accounting. As shown in the second chart, out of 30 respondents, 36.7% are agree and 30% are strongly agree that forensic accounting is stronger than audit. As statistics shows, 66.7%, that is 19 accountants strongly agree, and 23.3%, that is 6 accountants agrees that forensic accounting has accounting skill, investigative and analytical skill to identify fraud as compared to traditional auditor. 33.33% of accountants agree that same different technique in forensic accounting help in understanding common and uncommon relation to detect the fraud. These are some of the suggestions. Forensic accounting services should be used as an investigative tool to detect and prevent frauds. Forensic accounting technique can be used to build a strong accounting internal control. Training programs, conferences and seminars need to be organized to enhance the skill and abilities of accountant regarding forensic issues. There is a need to understand the new perspective of business ethics which emerge from the understanding of philosophy of business rather than business philosophy. Both qualitative and quantitative materiality has to be evaluated according to relevant professional standard before determining whether the financial statements taken as a whole or not materially misstated. Thus, we can conclude that forensic accounting is an advanced method of detecting the high level of frauds. It is an independent examination of alleged wrongdoing in the company's accounting system. A large ethical framework of management can be linked with the ethical accounting control system and thereby prevent such failures. It is also inferred forensic accounting as a discipline is an interesting area and can be highly useful to both society and investigator. Increasing corporate scandal have shown a great demand for forensic accountant. Forensic accounting require the most important quality of a person can possess, the ability to think. There is no book that tell you how to do a forensic investigation. It is truly like solving a puzzle or peeling an onion. It takes creativity. These are some of the references we use in our research paper, and that brings us to the end of this presentation. I thank you all for your time and attention today. Thank you once again.
Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, a beginning initiative leading to ameliorate financial inclusion, is the research paper written by me, that is Dr. Nafseen Mistry, under the guidance of Dr. Arvind Buharsi. This slide talks about the introduction to my research paper. PMJDY is considered to be a beginning initiative launched by the government over all other financial inclusion schemes because PMJDY scheme was able to deliver the most in comparison to any other scheme launched by the government in the past. As all the scheme could not be studied together, Swabhiman scheme was taken as a scheme which will be compared with PMJDY's achievement. Swabhiman scheme was altogether different from PMJDY scheme in a manner where Swabhiman scheme concentrated on rural areas, PMJDY scheme covered both the rural and the urban backward areas. Swabhiman scheme focused on operation. On the contrary, PMJDY scheme concentrated on not only opening up of the accounts but also working towards making the dormant account operational again. PMJDY scheme provided the people with an umbrella scheme for all the financial services being offered by the bank, like pension, ATM facilities, insurance, and credit facilities. The scheme was successful because it has understood the advantage of online platform and has reaped the benefit of it. Banking correspondence in the name of Bank Mitu were also helpful for good implementation of PMJDY scheme. It also concentrated on providing a grievance redressal mechanism to the people so that they can take the benefit of all the financial services being offered under the scheme. Review of literature slide has a few review of literature being listed, where the first review of literature by Dr. Singh C. and Dr. Pandey J.C. narrated that financial inclusion scheme launched by the government in the name of PMJDY scheme has been able to deliver the results and have worked towards even alleviating poverty because of the constant reviews and regular check which was given by the government on its implementation. On the contrary, Kumar B. has recommended through his study that financial inclusion scheme alone is not required by the people. The government should think of providing a scheme which is helping people to open the account. At the same time, they must work towards the upliftment of the lower income groups so that sustainable income can be provided, which on the contrary will lead to operative accounts. The last review of literature by Singh C. and others has observed that technology and user-friendly services is important for enhancement of financial inclusion, which was very nicely seen in PMJDY scheme where technology has helped this better implementation of the scheme. This slide talks about the objective of the study and the hypothesis of the study. The objective of the study is to find out the the significant achievements of PMJDY scheme in comparison to Swabiman scheme. The null hypothesis of the study is PMJDY scheme is not significantly better in comparison to Swabiman scheme in various areas. The alternate hypothesis is stated as PMJDY scheme is significantly better in comparison to Swabiman scheme in various areas. This slide explains the research methodology followed for the research paper. Talking about the study area, the data has been collected from PMJDY account holders residing in Mumbai Western Suburb. While collecting the data, convenient sampling method was followed, which has helped for collecting the data from the sample size of 410 respondents spread over the area like Andheri, Bandra, Bhayandar, Borivali, and so on as listed on the slide. The data has been collected using both primary and secondary data. For primary data, survey method was used where questionnaire served as a tool for data collection. The collected data was then analyzed for descriptive analysis. Mean, median, mode, and standard deviation was used. For inferential analysis, that is hypothesis testing, non-parametric test was used. The non-parametric test which is used for hypothesis testing is one simple Kolmogorov Smirnov test. The data which is collected on achievements of PMJDY scheme in comparison to Swabiman scheme was collected using a 5-point Likert scale where 1 means strongly disagree, 2 means disagree, 3 means neutral, 4 means agree, and 5 means strongly agree. The data was analyzed using first the descriptive analysis technique of mean, median, mode, and standard deviation. The current slide speaks about the descriptive statistics being illustrated in the form of a table where there are statements listed and mean, median, mode, standard deviation is calculated for the statement. As we can see that the mean value is more than 3, that means with the maximum of the statement, people have agreed to the statements which were asked. The median value, except for the cost effectiveness, in all other factors, people have agreed to the statements being listed. The modal values and the low standard deviation shows the agreement of the respondent to the statements. The respondents have agreed that the accounting opening procedures were hassle-free in PMJDY scheme. Wherein for the cost effectiveness, it was seen that people were neutral about this statement. Administration and implementation of PMJDY scheme was found to be better in comparison to Swabiman scheme. We can see that the number of accounts in operation, that means the active accounts, are more in PMJDY scheme. Rupee debit card, electronic form of withdrawal were the things which have attracted people to PMJDY scheme. It was helpful for not only opening up of the account, but PMJDY scheme has also improved the financial literacy of the people. It has covered more area. The reach of financial inclusion has widened because of PMJDY scheme. Direct transfer facilities were introduced through the scheme. Credit facilities, which was not available in the previous scheme, was introduced in PMJDY scheme. PMJDY has made people aware about insurance and pension products, which was not offered by Swabiman scheme. This slide illustrates the result of hypothesis testing, where we can see through the non-parametric test, that is one simple case test, we can see that our significant value is 0.00. That means the p-value is less than 0.05, which rejects the null hypothesis at both 5% level of significance and 1% level of significance. This means that PMJDY scheme is significantly better in comparison to Swabhiman scheme in various areas. The finding and summary slide gives the finding of the descriptive and inferential analysis. From both the analysis, we have seen that people are agreeing to the thing that PMJDY scheme is significantly better in delivering the financial services and leading to better inclusion in comparison to Swabhiman scheme. Except the cost effectiveness factors, all other factors which were listed for the scheme being better in comparison to Swabhiman scheme is agreed by the people, and the inferential analysis result have also proved the same. This is my last page for presentation, that is references which has been listed from where the review of literature has been taken. That was all about my research paper. Thank you for patiently listening.
Good morning, I am Siddesh, and along with my colleague Tana Vishane, we are presenting the topic on comparative financial statement analysis, measuring the performance and profitability of PL company, which is located in Bangalore. The first slide of this topic is all about introduction. Usually the financial analysis is the act of correctly establishing the relationship between the items on the balance sheet and profit and loss account in order to discover the firm's financial strength and weakness. So the financial statement measures the financial performance as well as the financial position of the business. We mainly focus on BL company, and we measure and performance. We measure the financial analysis of the BL company, and it is a potent technique for financial analysis, the ratio analysis. In order to be reviewed by the parties interested in financial analysis, a number of ratios such as liquidity ratio, leverage ratio, activity ratio, and profitability ratio are used to know the measurement and measuring the financial performance of the company. With reference to our BL, and BL is an Indian government-owned aerospace and defense electronics company. It primarily manufactures advanced electronics products for ground and aerospace applications. BL is one of the 9 public sector units under the Ministry of Defence of India. It has granted Navaratna status by Government of India. Today, BL is one of the Maharatnas or the 7 jewelers of the Indian companies.
Literature. Coming to the review of literature, in the words of Susan Bird, he concluded in his study in the year 2008 that a company that generates bigger profit margin than its competitors has a superior investment prospect, all else being equal. Coming to the another study done by M.Y. Khan and P.K. Jain in the year 2011, the financial professionals can benefit greatly from financial statement analysis. That is what the conclusion we had drawn. And Maheshwari in the year 2015, he concluded ratio analysis will pinpoint 3 factors. That is, one is liquidity position, solvency, and profitability position of the year. Just like that, there are so many studies done under this financial analysis.
The next slide is all about research methodology and data collection. The main objective of this study is to analyze the financial statements of the company for the past 5 years and to measure the performance and profitability of the company for the last 5 years and to understand the relationship between the performance and profitability of the company. These 3 are the main objectives in our study. When it comes to scope of the study, the scope of the study is to extend and analyze the different areas with the help of ratio analysis. The ratios include liquidity ratio, then the debt equity ratio, and performance. It measures the performance and profit of the company. It is analyzed to understand whether the company's performance is good or bad. If it is not good, then we give suggestions how to convert in a positive way. This present study is for last 5 years we took from 2017 to 20. And the research methodology and data collection, the data collected from the secondary sources which is presented in annual report from the last 5 years data we collected from the annual reports of the company, and this research design is purely on exploratory research in nature.
Slide is relating to the significance of the study. Coming to the significance of the present study, it helps, the financial analysis helps to analyze the efficiency, profitability, financial soundness and future prospects of every business organization. As a result, it will help in judging the profitability and liquidity of the company, thereby evaluating the financial health and performance of the business. And we have taken the ratio analysis for the study. Therefore, ratio analysis will help the particular company to give the main focus on the performance measurement. And many ratios are available to analyze own performance and success. And those will help in judging the greater financial soundness of the business.
The next slide is all about the data analysis and interpretation. The satisfactory current ratio is 2:1, but the BS has current ratio below 2:1. Therefore, the current ratio is not up to the mark. The quick ratio of the company is within the one which represents satisfactory financial condition. The net working capital ratio is almost stable for past 5 years, which shows the company's potential reserve of the funds and ability to meet the current obligations.
Slide relating to turnover ratio, and coming to the turnover ratio for the past 5 years of the BL company, if you see the net asset turnover ratio which is more than 1, it shows that the company is producing sufficient sales for each 1 rupee of capital employed in net assets. Coming to the total asset turnover ratio, it is comparatively less. It shows that the company's ability in generating sales from the total sales is less. Coming to the working capital turnover ratio for the past 5 years, it is stable within the range of 2. It tells that the company is having the good turnover compared to the working capital.
The next slide is all about profitability ratio. So the table showing the profitability ratio as well as graph is also showing the profitability ratio of PL for past 5 years. So in compared to 21, 20, 20 to 21 and 21 to 21, so the gross profit ratio is all about 0.21 to 0.21. So almost we can find the same gross profit ratio when compared to previous year. So increase in the profit margin and net profit of the company shows the company has a good operating efficiency. The return on investment of the company is stable, which shows the company's profit earning to the total investment is to be satisfactory. The return on equity is improving, which shows the PL is attempting to maximize owners' welfare. The performance of the company is increasing year by year. The next slide is testing of hypothesis. So null hypothesis, that is there is no relationship between performance and profitability of the company, and alternative hypothesis, there is a relationship between the performance and profitability of the company. After conducting the test, we conclude that the null hypothesis should be rejected because the p-value is less than 0.05. Therefore, it can be concluded that there is a relationship between performance and profitability of the company. If the performance increases, the profitability also increases. If performance decreases, the profitability also decreases. There is a relationship between the performance and profitability. So null hypothesis should be rejected.
Coming to the conclusion of the study, first one, to the liquidity position of the company, it should be improved. Thereby, the inventory of the company should be kept at a proper level because the inventory is having its own cost, and blocking in the delay in the inventory it will lead to the higher cost of to the company. Coming to the profitability of the PS, the gross profit and net profit margin is increasing, but the increasing rate is to be improved in the future years. The turnover ratio of the company is satisfactory. It shows that the overall performance of the company is good. The return of equity is also assured. By seeing the ratios, we can understand that the return of equity is assured to the shareholders, and working capital turnover ratio is also stable. It tells that the positive result has been gain to the company. These are the some of the conclusions we can understand from the total study whatever we have done. Coming to the limitation, first one is it is purely based. First limitation is it is purely based on the secondary data, that is annual report of the company, and the limitations associated with the compressed financial statement, it will affect the study. Second one is the study is only for a limited period, it is for 5 years. Third one is the study is limited to only for one company. Always there is a scope for the making more research by taking into consideration different companies. Coming to the suggestion, the company should improve the current asset management because the liquidity position of the company should be improved. As we coming to the cost of goods sold and operating expenses should be controlled, thereby the company can improve the profitability of the business. As the cost decreases, the profitability of the business can be improved. The amount of current liability of the company is to be brought under control, which helps the company to improve the overall performance of the company.
References. These are all the books, reference, and journals we referred for the study. Thank you.
Hello, today we are here to present our research paper. The research paper topic is scrutiny of brand equity crisis in context of food product. Case study of Maggie, Cadbury Dairy Milk, and Coca-Cola. The author of research paper is Ms. Rujita Mohan Joshi, and we are co-authors. Myself, Rasika Sanjay Oak, and myself, Anushka Sandeep Bhusri. Let's start with the topic. What is brand equity? Brand equity is part of company's worth that can be attributed to its brands. Brand equity is equal to brand value. Brand crises are more common in today's market than ever before. In this paper, three famous food brands considered by Mr. Maggie, Cadbury Dairy Milk, and Coca-Cola have suffered to the crisis of damaged brand image. This is a brief case study of the said products to understand what common strategies were undertaken by these brands to overcome the crisis and regain their original brand equity. Let's move to the literature review. The review has given us an idea of how brand equity matters to the company's success and survival. Also, it denotes various strategies to fight the brand crisis in the company. Let's move to the methodology. This is our methodology. We studied and analyzed that all the three brands and their crisis, and then we done this research paper. The first FMCG product that we have studied in the case study is Nestle Maggi. It is originally from Switzerland. It was introduced in Switzerland in 1884. After that, it was taken over by Nestle Company in 1947. In India, it was introduced in 1983. Its market capital is 25.52 billion US dollars, and its market share in the instant noodle market is 57%. One of the Nestle India's biggest PR issues was the Maggi noodle crisis in 2015, which became known when laboratory tests found the instant noodles were unsafe for human health and found that it had too much lead. First, a report was made from Uttar Pradesh Barabanki. It all began when Maggi was revealed to have excessive amounts of lead and monosodium glutamate. The Uttar Pradesh regulators discovered that Maggi noodle sample had too much monosodium glutamate. According to the test, Maggi had a lead content of about 17 parts per million, which was higher than the allowed limit of 0.01 parts per million. Nestle suffered a financial loss of more than 500 crores as a result of the ban. as more than 37,000 tons of Maggi noodles had to be burned. In just 1 month, Maggi's market share went from an astonishing 80% to around 5%. Due to allegations of unneeded ingredients, including lead and monosodium glutamate, the Maggi brand was in crisis. The strategic reforms by the company was as follows. The first one, mostly their targeted audience were all Indian mothers who have been preparing Maggi for their children ever since it became available. Second, while it awaited the test result, Nestle India released a series of short films with the hashtag We Miss You Too. Then, the Mom's Trust campaign was created while keeping hope at center of its marketing campaign. They make some minor changes to their website to upgrade online marketing and to gain online surfers' trust. Then the company proved that there is no lead in Maggi noodles and that some unwanted chemicals were removed from them. In November 2015, Nestle reintroduced its instant noodles to the market after a 5-month ban. The second case of the case study is Cadbury Dairy Milk. It is a British brand. In India, it was introduced in 1948. Its sale in Asian region is 45.7% and its market share in India is 70%. In 2003, Cadbury Dairy Milk was found to have worms in Maharashtra. In just 14 days, there were numerous reports of worms in chocolate, which hurt sales. Pune-based Cadbury brand supply of chocolates was seized by Maharashtra Food and Drug Administration. The FDA commissioner, however, did not agree with the Cadbury's reasoning, saying that it was assumed that worms enter it at the storage level. But what about the packaging? Packaging was not suitable or airtight. Either way, it's manufacturing failure with unclean circumstances or poor packaging. The worm dispute occurred around the time of Diwali festival. The consumers were hesitant to buy the worm-infested chocolates, which resulted in a 30% reduction in sale. For the longest time in Cadbury's history, the brand's advertising was take off the air. The strategic reform by the company was as follows. They introduced new packaging with their 3-layered packaging. Second, the education program Vishwas was introduced by Cadbury, and Cadbury spent $150 million on imported machinery and equipment while also enhancing the product's packaging. Amitabh Bachchan has endorsed this product. They pick him owing to the fact that he upheld the Cadbury brand values and his capacity to relate to all of India. Mothers, young adults, kids, members of the press, and business partners are among their target audiences. In the current business environment, Cadbury is doing well in the market. The third case study is about Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is an American beverage company. It was founded in 1892 and in India it was introduced in 1950. $38.65 million is its revenue which comes from the operation and it is 32nd most valuable company in the world. The CSE, means the Center for Science and Environment, claimed that 12 varieties of Coke and Pepsi contain pesticides levels several times higher than allowed limits. The pesticide crisis, which is being kept afloat by a joint parliamentary committee investigation, was something that the soft drink industry was still attempting to come to the terms with as 2003 concluded. The results of the test done found that the pesticide present in the product were known to contribute to the development of serious diseases like cancer, immune system disorders, and birth abnormalities. Various NGOs, both inside and outside of India, accused Coca-Cola of draining nearby Indian towns dry through excessive groundwater pumping, among other crimes. The strategic reforms by the company are as follows. First, Life with the S, which translates to life as it should be, was the strategy implemented in urban areas. This successful branding campaign used an emotional appeal by representing the benefits of increased social and economic freedoms, reminding rich consumers that why Coca-Cola is biggest product were their preferred beverage. Second, Coca-Cola introduced the Think Local, Act Local mantra in India to capitalize on the Indian market growth potential. The strategy identified that India has two separate audiences, that is urban and rural. The business strategy must relate and attract consumers from both regional areas. Second is Mandatory bi-monthly meetings will be scheduled to address lab results, new policies and procedures, and opportunity for employees will be given. An email was used for communication to maintain transparency and accountability of the company. And toll-free number was created for the customer who has any question. And today, India is one of the leading markets for the Coca-Cola company, providing the fifth largest position for the Coca-Cola globally. Here, we discuss about the crisis management strategies and how they successfully combat. Here, they mostly use an aggressive advertising technique as well as the advertising policies. Here, the common points in their strategies are accepting responsibility, apologizing to customers or other affected stakeholders, as well as providing some sort of remedy, such as voluntary product recall or a free replacement, and constitute unambiguous support have remained common. The future study, given the paucity of present research on the connection between brand equity and crisis. These are a few of references. Thank you.
Employees are a company's greatest asset. They are your competitive advantage. You want to attract and retain the best, provide them with encouragement, stimulus, and make them feel that they are an integral part of the company's mission. A famous quote given by the former CEO and chairwoman of Xerox Corporations. Greetings to all. This is Ms. Shabana Gufran Khan, Assistant Professor from SVKM's Metibai College, presenting to you a research paper on a topic, a study on the impact of job satisfaction on employees' loyalty and commitment. This is a flow of my presentation. To introduce about the topic, job satisfaction and employee loyalty signifies one of the foremost significant tasks faced by the employers nowadays, especially when it is about dealing with their employees. The longer the employee stays with an organization, the more valuable they become. Employees are considered as the most valuable asset of the organizations. Retaining them is the biggest challenge, and in order to retain the employees, it is very important to engage them, to satisfy their needs. If they are satisfied and find themselves engaged in the organizations, they will definitely be loyal to their organizations. The aim of the study was to explore the several factors which causes employee satisfaction and which will make them stay in an organization for a long period of time. These are few highlights of reviews which I have done. In detail, my research paper consists of everything. These are just few highlights as given by some authors, like the review of the author Abdul Qayyum Chaudhary. He highlights on the importance of job satisfactions, loyalty, and how it will bring down the employee attrition. Then Ravindra Pathak says about that loyalty of employees is very important and a very strong association, which bonds an employee to an organization, which is very important. Then the Chuktai Amir Ali 2008, under their study, they have covered or identified certain number of factors which are important for employees' job satisfaction. Also, I've covered how employee satisfaction and performances are related. So, different reviews from different authors have been covered. Likewise, the next slide also highlights some of the important reviews related to my topic. Moving ahead with my research methodology, I have used an exploratory research method because I intended to explore certain factors of job satisfactions. My population for study were several employees from Mumbai region. I have used purposive sampling method for sampling my respondents. Sample size has been 100. and I've used primary as well as secondary data for my study. Primary data collected from questionnaire and secondary data from journals, magazines, books. Statistical methods which I've used is the chi-square method for testing my hypothesis. The purpose was just to know that what role human resource management can play in enhancing job satisfaction of employees, making them loyal towards the organizations. My study will have practical implications definitely for the organization in helping them to deal with the problem of employee job satisfaction, employee attrition, and it will help them to enhance employees' job satisfaction and employee loyalty. They can come up with certain measures with the help of my study in order to improve or enhance the job satisfaction of their employees, to make their employees more engaged. Limitations has been just is that my study is just restricted to Mumbai and the age group is 18 to 55 years, the working population basically. I have set two sets of hypotheses. Hypothesis number one talks about employee satisfaction and employee commitment, and the other hypothesis talks about the association of employee satisfaction and employee loyalty. So both the alternate hypotheses are accepted as per my test. Data analysis may, as you can see, have total 100 number of respondents. So their bifurcation age group wise. Certain highlights with respect to my data analysis I have mentioned, like the number of years the employees have been working in the same organizations. So as we can see, 26.8% of the employees have been working since 2 years continuously, 17.1% since 1 year, 19.5% since last 4 years, 22% since 3 years, and 14.6% since 5 plus years, more than 5 years. Then the respondents were asked on the rating scale of 1 to 5 about their job satisfaction presently where they work. So 29.3% rated 5, the highest rating they gave for their job satisfaction. 7.3% just one level of 1. Then 22% gave a rating of 2, and 14.6% on the rate of scale of 3. So the major concern will be these people who have rated a very low satisfaction from the job. So this would be a major concern for the organization to address such people. On the basis of my study, I have come up with certain suggestions which will definitely help the organizations to improve or enhance job satisfaction, make their employees loyal. So they can, what they can do is that they can inquire about their employees' personal motivations. What are their expectations? What motivates them? So accordingly, they can provide such kind of offerings. Because it is important that you know expectation of employees and then accordingly offer them, rather than blindly offer anything. Work culture should be conducive, more effective. As far as possible, micromanagement must be reduced because employees don't like being micromanaged by their bosses. Employers must provide career development opportunities, professional development opportunities, because people definitely want their careers to grow. They want to grow in the organization. They don't want their career to remain stagnant. And there should be a transparent and communication at all levels, very important in order to avoid all sort of miscommunication. So to conclude, I would like to say job satisfaction and employee loyalty, though they are major concern, but it is not so difficult for an organization to enhance their employees' job satisfaction and make them committed and loyal. All they need to do is understand their employees' expectations and offer them accordingly, work towards their development, focus on their growth, treat them as an important asset, a valuable asset, value their opinion, provide them opportunity, provide them necessary training, provide them conducive work culture, work environment which they definitely need it. So once you understand your employee expectations and accordingly offer those, your employees will feel valued and they will for sure stay with you for a long period of time, which is required. So what is more important is that companies, employers must understand the expectations of their employees, value them, then the employees will feel motivated, satisfied, they will get engaged towards the organization, and then the loyalty will definitely improve and enhance. That's how the problem of job satisfaction, employee engagement, employee loyalty could be solved, could be dealt with. These are the references which I have used. Refer, as there are many, I've mentioned in detail in my research paper. To end on a good note, I would like to thank Ismail Yusuf College for providing a platform and opportunity to present a research paper, and I also would like to thank all the committee members for organizing the conference and coordinating day and night with us so that they can pull up a good show. So thank you and all the best.
Good day to all. I am Dr. Ramiza Khan from Burhani College. My topic for the study is an evaluation of a degree college student's inclination towards the investment in the share market securities with reference to Mumbai. Investment is essential for economic growth of a nation. It acts as a lifeblood for the various industries. It is the link between the savers and the company. There are a wide variety of avenues available for the investment such as shares, debentures, bonds and government securities and so on. Now because of the availability of a digital platform, the investor can easily invest their money. Due to the digitalization and fintech, the financial market has grown considerably. Younger generations are techno-savvy and can take the benefit of their knowledge. Today's small investor can become a giant investor tomorrow. There are various studies have been conducted with respect to the understanding the students' investors' preference, the financial literacy among them, and to understand their preferences for the investment. The study also revealed that due to the pandemic COVID-19, there is a shift in the investment preference. The investors, college students are now preferring to the safest mode of investment. There is a need to identify the current level of the investment preference of a degree college student residing in a metropolitan city, Mumbai. Mumbai being a financial hub of many financial activities offers abundant opportunities for investment. College students can opt for a part-time job and can save the amount. The study is very relevant as in today's digital era where the numerous investment avenues are offered in a different forms, it is crucial to comprehend the youth's investment preference. It is indispensable to motivate the younger generation to take a wise decision. The present study will evaluate the degree college students' inclination towards the share market securities in Mumbai. Only few investment options are taken into account for understanding the criteria of investment. Gender and saving percentage of a degree college students are considered as an independent variable, whereas the factors that incline towards the share market considered as dependent variable. The study covers the students from the commerce, arts and science stream falling under the age group of 18 to 22. Those who are studying in the colleges affiliated to the Mumbai University. The objective of the study are as follows: to study the present level of awareness about the saving and investment among the youth, to find out the significant difference between the factors that incline the degree college students towards the share market on the basis of gender, to find out the significant difference between the factors that incline the degree college students towards the share market on the basis of their saving percentage. Based on the literature and the objective, the following hypotheses have been drawn. There is no significant difference between the factors that incline the degree college students towards the share market on the basis of gender. There is no significant difference between the factors that incline the degree college students towards the share market on the basis of saving percentage. Research methodology that is used in the present study. The data has been collected from the primary as well as secondary sources. The primary sources is the well-structured questionnaire distributed in the form of a Google form. The study is consists of 60 degree college students. The statistical tool used for the present study is percentage, mean, graphs, ANOVA, and F-test is calculated. Stratified sampling method is used for the purpose of research. Out of the total 60 respondents, 47% are male and 53% are female. Majority of the students are getting the amount in the form of a pocket money. 48% of students are approximately are employed or doing a part-time job, and few are into a business. Majority of the students are earning less than 30,000 rupees a month. Approximately 45% of students are saving more than 30% of their monthly income. The study revealed that the preferred avenue among the degree college student is shares. Their second most preferred avenue is gold, and they also invest the amount in the derivatives. The influencer for the investment in the share market is their own curiosity. The few are having a family tendency to invest the amount into the share market, and few are due to the peers. Majority of the students are doing the investment through the apps and digital platform. The apps usually preferred by the student is Kite, Grow, and Upstock, and approximately 32% are going for the investment to the different other apps available in the market. 52% of the respondents have earned minimal amount of a return from the share market, and 38% have earned decent return, and whereas 10% of the degree college students have suffered losses, or else they haven't earned any amount of a gain. The factors responsible for their investment into the share market, when they were asked about on the basis of a return, so majority are investing in the share market due to the good amount or hefty amount of a return that they expect from the share market securities. Even though the securities are risky, then also they are preferring to the share market investment. And few students are not even aware about the risk attached, then also they invest into the share market under the peer pressure. Majority students go for searching the detailed information about the companies and their background and their current scenarios and current business in the market, and based on that they gather the information and they invest the amount. If you are not even having a good knowledge, then also they go for an investment. Liquidity is the major criteria which attract the investors more due to the transparency and the protection by the regulatory authority that develops a confidence among the degree college students that they can invest the amount into the securities. They find the various apps are very convenient enough to invest the amount, so easy trading is possible. They also compare the various costs charged by the different apps, and accordingly they invest the amount, and we are not even worried about the cost, and they just go for an investment. And they find it very convenient because the procedure is simple. They don't require to go for heavy procedures for investing the amount into the share market. Testing of hypothesis. The two hypotheses considered for the present study, the assessment of a significant difference between the factors inclining the degree college students towards the share market securities on the basis of gender, and the second one is in relation to the saving percentage. The first hypothesis, when tested, it was found that the calculated value of f is greater than the critical value at 0.10 level of significance, which is very small, p-value is very small, and that supports the alternative hypothesis. When the second hypothesis is tested, that is a significant difference between the factors that incline the degree college students towards the share market securities on the basis of saving percentage, the calculated value of f is greater than the critical value at 0.10 level. The difference is very small and the null hypothesis is rejected. That means that result supports alternative hypothesis. The conclusion from the present study: there is a significant difference between the factors that incline the degree college students towards the share market on the basis of a gender. Male and female investors have a slight difference in their perception, but they both are interested in investment in the share market. There is a significant difference between the factors that incline the degree college students towards the share market on the basis of the saving percentage. When the students save more amount of money, they incline more towards the share market securities. Approximately 45% of the degree college students save more than 30% of the earning, which shows that students are now quite sensible towards the savings. Degree college students are mostly prefer the share market securities, that is approximately 76% respondents. Alongside, they also invest in gold. So they set up their own portfolio and invest the amount, and they are giving less preference to the government securities. The students' own curiosity regarding the share market security is the major driver for their investment. Due to the availability of a digital platform, the students find it easy to invest the amount because it's a hassle-free procedure. 63% of the students are investing the amount in the share market through the apps. Tech-based investment platform is very much in fame among the youngsters. 26% of the share market investors are preferring Kite, 17% go for Grow, and 10% investors are doing investment through the Upstocks. Out of the total share market investors, 38% have earned decent amount of a return, 52% earn minimal return, and 10% have neither suffered losses or no gain. The limitation of the study. This study is also an effort that gauges the current saving and investment preference of the student at a present level. That may get changed because of the change in time. Only the Mumbai area is considered for the study. The sample is consists of just 60 degree college students residing in a Mumbai city. Suggestions. As majority of the students are financially literate, but there is a need to guide them to take a wise decision making. There is a need to conduct a study with the large sample size to tap the investment pattern of a degree college student. Those who are from the commerce stream are much aware about the financial market, so it is essential to conduct the awareness and guidance program for the other stream students. The same study can be conducted on the other state, and this will help to analyze the investor's perspective. At a younger age, certain students take impulsive decisions, like in addition, they go for an haphazard investment without understanding the fundamental and technical analysis of a company. There is a need to assist them by conducting a program that is an expert talk. These are the following references that has been done in order to understand or conduct the study. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, I am Devanshi Sarikwal and today I'll be presenting my paper on impact of the Sri Lankan economic crisis on the Indian market. During an economic crisis, a nation's economy collapses, and in Sri Lanka's case, the crisis is due to the balance of payment deficit or BOP deficit, which happens when there is a high outflow of foreign currency to meet import requirements for things like machinery, technology, etc., as compared to export. A lot of factors along with an unstable government worsened the economy. The Easter bombings in April 2019 made the tourists hesitant from visiting Sri Lanka, and the country's high dependence on imports of essential commodities worsened the economy. India and Sri Lanka's economic relationship is a vibrant one. Besides being Sri Lanka's largest trading partner, India also makes up a significant portion of the country's foreign direct investment or FDI. Thus, a Sri Lankan economic collapse was likely to affect the Indian market. The research paper will delve deep into the Sri Lankan economic crisis and the positive and negative impact it had on India's economy. Research methodology used by the author. To achieve the research objectives laid out in this paper, the author has chosen to study quantitative and qualitative data from sources like government records, published research papers, journals, newspaper articles, and even World Bank and IMF reports. A mixed features research methodology has been used in this research study. Since all the information contained in this paper has been extracted from sources like news articles, opinions, journals, and published research papers, the author has relied upon secondary data. The objectives of the research are as follows: to analyze the Sri Lankan economic crisis, to examine the detrimental influence the crisis had on India's economy, and to analyze the opportunities that India had amidst the crisis. The researcher aims to attain the above objectives by the way of mixed methodology and by checking the validity of the hypothesis laid out in the paper. The economic crisis had a very devastating impact on Sri Lanka's economy, but it taught a lesson to the ruling government on how to manage forex reserves and to reduce the nation's dependence on imports, especially for the essential commodities. Importance and significance for India. The economic crisis left many gaps in Sri Lanka's tea market, which led the buyers to hesitate in buying tea from there. This put tea exporters in India in a very favorable position to compete for a market share in the nations which brought orthodox tea from Sri Lanka. This resulted in the demand for orthodox tea being increased, which resulted in a 22% spike in Indian orthodox tea exports in the first half of 2022. The relations between India and Sri Lanka soured under Mahinda Rajapaksa's presidency. After 2012, when India criticized Sri Lanka for its 3-decade civil war human rights violations, Sri Lanka became a Chinese ally, thus strengthening its deals with China. But fortunately, Sri Lanka declared an India First policy in October 2020. This meant that the Sri Lankan administration had also understood that India has always aided Sri Lanka and that preserving ties with China should not come at India's expense. This means that India and China are now battling diplomatically for Sri Lanka's good graces. China might try to influence the Sri Lankan economy because of Sri Lanka's strategical position. India could use the neighborhood first strategy to rebuild Sri Lanka's credibility while it struggles. The Indian government can do so by not coercing Colombo into financial sacrifices or additional debts, thereby maintaining the status of a better ally and preventing China's dominance. Sri Lanka's 26-year civil war destroyed its economy, which was further worsened by the COVID-19 pandemic, wherein the country's GDP growth plummeted to -3.56% in 2020 from 8.01% in 2010. The current economic crisis also led to the resignation of both the Prime Minister and the President. The Asian Development Bank projection for Sri Lanka's GDP growth is also low, where the GDP is falling to -8.8% in 2022 and to -3.3% in 2023. India experienced the following negative impacts because of the crisis. Challenges to an economic aspect. Sri Lanka's Colombo port handles 60% of goods transshipped from India and 70% is bound to India. Since it isn't feasible for the government to move the uncleared containers lying between the terminals, thousands of containers from India, including therefore Sri Lanka's use, are sitting at the port. This has resulted in a logjam at India's ports, which could result in increasing costs and congestions. Sri Lanka's political and economic turmoil has also halted trade with India, resulting in automobile and tea shortages due to the lack of raw materials. Number 2. Threat of Chinese influence in Sri Lanka. China may strive to enhance its influence in Sri Lanka due to the latter's frequent requests for emergency aid. It has been calculated that Sri Lanka owes $7.4 billion to Chinese lenders, making China Sri Lanka's largest bilateral lender. Policymakers and strategists worry about China's growing involvement with South Asian nations and the implications of it becoming a global power. Due to China's economic dominance in Sri Lanka, India faces many issues. Over 30% of India's container freight passes via Colombo port, so an interruption there could harm India's overseas trade. The Chinese government-owned China Merchant Port Holdings owns 85% of the Colombo extension. The Chinese investment in Sri Lanka's infrastructure also restrict India's economic space. The Hambantota port could be exploited for military purposes. China overtook India as Sri Lanka's major investor and importer between 2010 and 20. The China-Sri Lanka connection is so concrete to have China's imports down by only 8%, while India's were nearly down 20%. Despite India and Sri Lanka being physically close, China is firmly rooted in Sri Lanka's economy. So if India wishes to control its international trade, it must respond to China's expanding port control in Sri Lanka. Number 2. Reclaiming influence over its neighbor. Due to the souring of relationship between India and Sri Lanka, China became a better ally for Sri Lanka. This strengthened its deals with China, notably a $1.35 billion deal to build a disputed Hambantota port and the coal-fired Lafogia power plant in Puttalam. After loan default, Sri Lanka lost Hambantota port eventually, with Beijing receiving a 99-year lease on the port. India had causes for concern when the leases gave China the chance to use Hambantota as a military port for its Indian Ocean fleet. But in order to appease India, Sri Lanka declared an India First policy in October 2020. The Sri Lankan administration understood that India had always aided Sri Lanka and preserving ties with China should not come at India's expense. India could use the neighborhood first approach to rebuild Sri Lanka's credibility while it struggles and prevent Chinese dominance, thereby maintaining the position of a better ally and mending the relationships. Number 3. Textile and apparel market. Due to power outages, fuel shortages and other factors, Sri Lanka has been unable to make hosiery during the economic crisis. Clothing is Sri Lanka's second largest source of foreign exchange, and the Sri Lanka Export Development Board's provisional figures report that fashion exports climbed by 22.93% in 2021 from 2020, indicating the industry's recovery from the economic implications of the pandemic. But the economic crisis has had a detrimental effect on Sri Lanka's garment industry. As Sri Lanka undergoes its worst economic crisis, countries that previously imported textiles from the island nations have begun shifting their business towards Indian exporters, benefiting India. But this will benefit significantly to India only if India reduces the import duty on some of its raw materials like cotton. In the event of a crisis, India, Sri Lanka's neighbor, will have a moral obligation to provide a sizable portion of aid, which might have an unfavorable effect on India's economy. Although India has already extended supplies in the form of essential commodities, Sri Lanka might not find it enough. Therefore, putting too much might have a strain on India's own economy. The other concern is of refugees fleeing from Sri Lanka to India in the time of yet another crisis. India might not be able to handle the influx of refugees, and even though the situation in Sri Lanka has been pacified now, there are still some refugees coming because they are unable to deal with the after effects of the economic crisis. The economic crisis has created a lot of gaps in Sri Lanka's tea market, which is responsible for 97 to 98% of contribution globally. This has put India in a very favorable position as India can fill in any supply shortages created by Sri Lanka's abrupt decision to stop exporting tea to the world market. Exporters of tea from India find themselves in a favorable position to compete for market share in nations that buy orthodox tea. Sri Lanka is a significant producer of orthodox tea, selling around 3 million kg of it to European and American nations annually. Due to this economic crisis, buyers will hesitate in buying tea from Sri Lanka and will shift to India for this, thereby increasing the demand for orthodox tea in India. This slide analyzes the suggestions or the opportunities which India could have grasped amidst the crisis. Number 1. As Sri Lanka undergoes its worst economic crisis, countries that previously imported textiles and apparels from the island nations have begun shifting their business towards Indian exporters, benefiting India. But Sri Lanka's exports are duty-free and the importers who import apparels from India must pay a certain amount of duty, leading to high input costs, rendering domestic clothing manufacturers uncompetitive in foreign marketplaces. Therefore, the decline in apparel exports from Sri Lanka will bring significant fortunes to India only and only if it cuts down on its levies. This crisis has given an upper hand to India, drastically increasing its negotiating power in Colombo, earning it a few good deals with Sri Lanka. In the recent months, Sri Lanka finalized a deal with the Indian Oil Corporation to split ownership of the Trincomalee oil tank farm, which was established in Britain. A 100 megawatt power plant will also be built by India's National Thermal Power Corporation in Sampur, a key location in Trincomalee's natural harbour. Sri Lanka is struggling to govern itself, and India's financial and administrative resources make it an alluring partner. Therefore, working in coordination with Sri Lanka will boost India's as well as Sri Lanka's economy.
Hello everyone. Research paper entitled A Study of Investment Options in the Money Market and Its Awareness Among the Millennials is authored by Dr. Rashmi Maurya, Assistant Professor in Accountancy, KPB Hinduja College of Commerce, and co-authored by Shadab Abdul Shakur Sheikh, Assistant Professor in Accountancy, Patuk Dala College of Commerce and Management. Here are the topics covered in the introduction part. Millennials refers to the individual who were born between 1980s and early 2000s. The paper studies the investment options in the money market and its awareness among its millennials. Next is short-term debt investment. Money market refers to trading in very short-term debt investments such as short-term borrowings, lending, buying and selling, etc. Maturity period for the money market is less than 1 year. Money market instruments are treasury bills, certificate of deposits, commercial paper, commercial bills, call money market mutual funds, repos and reverse repo rate mutual fund, etc. And the last one is participants in the money market are Reserve Bank of India, Discount and Finance House of India, banks, financial institutions, mutual funds, government, etc. Miss Vaishali Rajendra and Dr. Nitin paper revealed that no significant association exists in age and investment avenues. If income increases, investment pattern will fall down. Objectives of our study are to understand the awareness of various avenues for investment among the millennials, to study the investment behavior of the millennials, and to understand the pattern of investment among the millennials. And the last one is to determine which money market investment opportunities millennials are interested in. This is one of the hypotheses was taken into consideration while writing the paper. Data was collected through structure questionnaire, various other articles, research paper and references book are also taken into consideration. Significance of the study are: money market is best for short-term transaction. It is highly liquid and most of the money market instrument will provide fixed returns, and it is an excellent opportunity for the millennials to invest and earn profit. And there are a lot of financial institutions that run financial literacy program for the investor will assist millennials in developing sound financial skills. The charts shows that majority of the respondents were among the age group of 25 to 30 years, and 64% of the respondents were male and 36 were female. The first chart shows that 80% of the respondents are deposit money in saving account and few of them put their saving in money market. The second chart shows awareness of the respondent regarding financial product. Majority of the respondents are aware of fixed deposit, and the third chart shows that majority of the respondents are aware about equity mutual fund, that is 49%. In the slide, pie diagram shows that 37% of respondents prefer to save as an investment up to 10 to 20%. Majority of the investors are more satisfied in investing in the money market rather than in a saving bank account. And there are some more data which we collected through the study. We come to know through the study that millennials are interested to invest in the money market, but due to lack of knowledge, the investor find more risky. Therefore, they preferred to invest in a traditional investment rather than the money market. Here are the list of papers which we have gone through. Thank you.